The monarchy is often described as providing a level of long-term stability that is difficult to find elsewhere. Alongside involvement with hundreds of charities, Queen Camilla is frequently reported to attend a large number of royal engagements, carrying a strong sense of duty that many observers link to the example set by previous generations of the royal family. But according to royal gossip and behind-the-scenes speculation, tensions reportedly flared during discussions about a private summer stay at Sandringham. One story making the rounds claims that Princess Anne pushed back hard against plans involving a particular section of the estate. Sources quoted in these rumors suggest Anne took firm steps to protect what she viewed as established arrangements, creating a situation that allegedly left Camilla frustrated and caught off guard. The story gets even more dramatic from there. According to the claims, a representative was allegedly sent to the administrative office at the Sandringham estate with instructions to review historical usage records connected to the northeast private wing of Sandringham House. The reported goal was to examine decades of documented stays linked to Anne's household and determine how those records were categorized. Insiders discussing the rumor claim the proposal was not to remove records entirely, since that would be easy to spot, but instead to adjust how certain entries were described. According to these accounts, references that reportedly identified stays as belonging to the Princess Royal's household would have been changed to a broader label such as General Royal Household Usage. If the speculation were true, critics argued it could have altered how future readers interpreted the history of that wing. Supporters of Anne's position reportedly viewed the idea as an attempt to blur a long-standing connection between her family and that part of the estate. In that version of events, Anne could have found herself facing paperwork that no longer clearly reflected her household's historical use of the property. The rumors also claim that staff members felt intense pressure during the dispute. Some accounts even allege that warnings were given about mistakes carrying serious professional consequences, creating an atmosphere filled with stress and tension. By that stage, according to the gossip surrounding the situation, Camilla reportedly believed she held the upper hand and that Anne would have very few options left to challenge the arrangement. According to royal insiders and ongoing palace rumors, Camilla believed she was in a position to reshape long-standing arrangements at Sandringham and make her influence impossible to ignore. The controversy centered on a private wing that had reportedly been linked to Princess Anne's household for decades. Anne had not publicly challenged anyone or made any new demands regarding the space. As far as many people were concerned, it was simply a long-established family arrangement that nobody had questioned for years. That is why the situation reportedly caused such a stir. Supporters of Anne's position claimed the issue was never about creating a new claim, but about preserving a historical connection that had existed for generations. The understanding may not have been widely discussed, but it was allegedly recognized by those familiar with the estate's history. According to the claims, attention soon turned to the records connected to that wing. Critics feared that if historical references were altered or reclassified, future reviews of the property's usage could paint a very different picture. What had once been viewed as a clear link to Anne's household might suddenly appear much less certain on paper. But then came a dramatic twist. Reports suggest that a longtime Sandringham staff member became concerned after seeing paperwork related to the changes. This employee had reportedly spent more than 20 years working at the estate and was familiar with its history. According to the story, they felt something was not right and decided they could not stay silent. Instead of using official channels, the staff member allegedly made a private call to Anne's office and shared what they had learned. That single conversation reportedly changed everything. Information that had been moving quietly behind the scenes was suddenly in the hands of Anne's advisors. The response was said to be swift. Anne's team reportedly gathered documentation and moved to formally record years of historical usage. connected to her household. By submitting evidence directly to the estate administration, they ensured the information would become part of the official record. What was supposed to remain a quiet internal matter had suddenly become a serious dispute. If the reports are accurate, the effort to challenge Anne's connection to the wing ran into a major obstacle, and the battle over Sandringham was far from over. According to the story circulating among royal watchers, once the paperwork supporting Anne's position was officially filed, the situation became far more difficult to challenge. Supporters of Anne believed that any attempt to reverse it would require a lengthy and highly visible process, something that could attract unwanted public attention and create major headaches for everyone involved. By the time reports claim Camilla's representatives checked on the status of the record changes, the opportunity to act had supposedly already passed. Anne's team had reportedly moved with remarkable speed. The necessary documents were said to be filed, the historical records preserved, and the matter formally placed on record before anyone on the other side realized how quickly events had unfolded. But according to the rumors, Anne was not finished yet. A family gathering at Windsor was approaching, hosted by King Charles, and insiders claimed Anne intended to address the issue directly. Those familiar with the story say she wanted to make it clear that she knew exactly what had been happening behind the scenes. The dinner reportedly took place in March 2026. As the tale goes, Camilla was already seated when Anne arrived. Witnesses described a brief moment of surprise crossing Camilla's face before she quickly regained her composure. It lasted only a second, but according to the accounts, several people in the room noticed it immediately. The meal began with the usual polite conversation. Guests reportedly discussed gardens, weather, and other harmless topics. Yet beneath the surface, many believed there was an obvious tension hanging over the table. The small talk seemed to continue only because nobody wanted to address the issue everyone was supposedly thinking about. Then came the moment that royal gossip circles cannot stop talking about. According to the story, a pause settled over the conversation. Anne calmly put down her fork and looked directly across the table. The room reportedly grew quiet as everyone sensed something important was about to happen. Anne is said to have looked straight at Camilla and declared, "I have been aware of what you tried to do at Sandringham. Those records, the ones you wanted changed. I've handed everything to my lawyers. It's done. There is nothing you can do about it now." According to the account, the silence that followed was immediate and intense. Some versions of the story even claim Charles stared down at his plate as the room absorbed what had just been said. Whether fact or rumor, it became one of the most talked about moments in the entire dispute. According to the story, the atmosphere at the Windsor dinner became even more tense after Anne's reported remarks. Those nearby allegedly fell silent, and attention quickly shifted to Camilla's reaction. Rather than appearing shocked, the accounts claim she remained calm and composed. After a brief pause, she reportedly smiled and responded in a measured tone. Witnesses describing the moment say Camilla looked toward Anne and replied, "I'm not sure what you mean. That sounds very much like estate management gossip, Anne." Her response was said to be polite, controlled, and delivered with the kind of confidence that suggested she was prepared for the possibility of being challenged. Many versions of the story claim people at the table immediately recognized the exchange as more than a simple disagreement. According to royal commentators, both men appeared determined not to give ground. While Camilla reportedly dismissed the allegations, Anne is said to have offered no further response. Instead, she allegedly returned her attention to her meal and avoided any additional direct exchanges for the rest of the gathering. The silence that followed has become a major part of the rumor itself. Those discussing the event often describe the atmosphere as icy, with conversation continuing around the table while an obvious tension lingered in the background. According to these accounts, King Charles remained quiet, leaving the uncomfortable situation unresolved. The controversy surrounding the Sandringham wing did not end there. Royal watchers have long speculated about why that particular section of the estate is considered so valuable. The northeast private wing is often described as one of the more secluded areas of Sandringham House, separated from the busier parts of the property and offering a greater degree of privacy than many other sections of the estate. According to reports and speculation, the wing includes independent access points and sits away from areas commonly used for public events or official activities. Because of its location, some observers believe it provides a level of seclusion that is highly prized within royal circles. That belief fueled even more gossip about the dispute. Many people assumed the interest in the wing was simply about securing a peaceful summer retreat. On the surface, that explanation seemed perfectly reasonable. Sandringham traditionally experiences quieter periods during parts of the summer, while members of the royal family often spend time elsewhere. But among palace rumor circles, some claimed there was much more at stake than a comfortable seasonal residence. The fight over the wing was increasingly being portrayed as a battle over influence, access, and control behind palace walls. According to royal rumors, Anne was informed that Camilla planned to spend part of the summer at the northeast wing of Sandringham. The official explanation was simple enough: a peaceful and private getaway during a quieter period at the estate. But behind palace walls, some insiders reportedly believed there was more to it than that. Supporters of Anne's side allegedly viewed the situation with growing concern. They did not see the dispute as being only about a summer residence. Instead, they believed it was connected to influence, relationships, and long-standing networks that operated quietly within royal circles. For years, royal commentators have noted that senior members of the royal family maintain connections with aristocrats, advisors, media figures, and other influential people. According to the speculation, some observers felt that certain individuals around Camilla held significant sway in conversations about royal matters and public perception. Anne's supporters reportedly kept a close eye on these developments. They watched stories appear in the press, followed changes involving staff and household arrangements, and paid attention to shifting responsibilities within royal operations. While none of these events were unusual on their own, some believed they pointed to larger power struggles taking place behind the scenes. The northeast wing became a major focus of that speculation. Because it is considered one of the more private areas of the estate, some royal watchers believed it would be an ideal location for informal meetings and private discussions away from public attention. There is no public evidence supporting claims of secret activity, but the rumors continued to gain momentum. At the center of the gossip was one major question: what might future leadership inside the royal household look like? According to insiders, discussions reportedly focused on influence, decision-making, and who would play key roles during important transitions ahead. Those questions fueled even more speculation and helped turn the Sandringham dispute into a much larger royal controversy. According to the rumors, the discussions allegedly linked to the Sandringham wing were viewed by some insiders as far more important than casual conversations. Supporters of this theory believe the private setting could have provided a place for trusted advisors and associates to meet away from public attention. However, there is no public evidence confirming these claims, and much of the story remains based on speculation. Those who followed the controversy closely argued that Anne's actions were about more than blocking access to a summer residence. In their view, she had stopped plans that could have strengthened certain relationships and influenced networks within royal circles. Whether that interpretation is accurate remains a matter of debate, but it became a major talking point among royal commentators. After the reported Windsor dinner, rumors claim that Camilla learned Anne's legal filing had already been completed and formally submitted. If true, the realization meant that any effort to challenge the situation had become significantly more complicated. According to palace gossip, this was a major setback that few people saw coming. Sources discussing the dispute suggest that Camilla's frustration stemmed from more than a single issue. They claim she believed she had lost two important opportunities at the same time, making the situation feel even more damaging. Royal insiders speculated that one concern involved influence and long-term planning, while another was tied to ongoing disagreements within the family itself. According to reports, discussions had reportedly been taking place about how certain royal matters should be handled in the future. Some accounts even suggested there were differing opinions among senior family members regarding those decisions. While the details remain unclear, commentators often pointed to these disagreements as evidence of growing tensions behind closed doors. With her reported plans disrupted and the legal filing already in place, palace rumors suggest Camilla was unwilling to simply move on. Instead, according to the story, she decided to take her concerns directly to King Charles, setting the stage for yet another dramatic chapter in the ongoing dispute. According to the story making the rounds, Camilla did not take the situation lightly after learning about Anne's legal filing. Sources claim she went directly to Charles and argued that the dispute was no longer just about a section of Sandringham. It had become a question of authority and control within the family itself. The accounts describe Camilla as determined and intensely focused during the conversation. She reportedly pointed out that the filing involved property connected to Charles's private estate and argued that such a significant move should not have happened without his knowledge or involvement. According to the rumors, she emphasized that Anne had acted independently and had not first sought a direct discussion with the king. As the story goes, Camilla pressed the issue from every angle. She allegedly argued that Anne's actions sent a message that Charles's authority could be bypassed whenever someone chose to do so. Insiders claim she framed the matter as a test of leadership, suggesting that failing to respond could create the impression that others were free to act without consequences. According to reports, Charles listened, but did not immediately provide an answer. Instead, he reportedly said he needed more time to consider the situation. For those following the palace drama, that response was significant because it left the dispute hanging in the air with no clear resolution. Days passed, and according to the rumors, Camilla continued waiting for a decision that never arrived. Sources claim messages were sent through intermediaries seeking clarification, but no firm position was communicated back. The silence reportedly became more meaningful with each passing day. Royal commentators speculated that Charles faced a difficult balancing act. Anne had long been viewed as one of the monarchy's most dependable working royals, and many believed he was reluctant to escalate a conflict with his sister. Others suggested he may have felt that the legal filing itself was not unreasonable. Whatever the reason, no decisive action reportedly followed. According to palace gossip, Camilla eventually interpreted the silence as an answer in itself. Then, the story claims, a new phase of the conflict began. Insiders allege she started reaching out to influential contacts within her wider social and professional circles, quietly sharing her concerns and setting larger conversations into motion behind the scenes. According to the rumors, a new strategy quickly began taking shape behind the scenes after the dispute intensified. Sources claim that supporters of Camilla's position started presenting Anne's actions as less about protecting tradition and more about resisting change within the royal family. The message reportedly suggested that Anne's legal challenge was driven by personal frustration rather than practical concerns. As the story goes, these opinions were not shared through public statements or official channels. Instead, they allegedly spread through private conversations among influential social circles. According to palace gossip, the narrative appeared in exclusive gatherings, private dinners, and conversations between well-connected figures. Because the discussions were informal and largely private, tracing their origin was reportedly almost impossible. Royal commentators say this kind of behind-the-scenes influence can be powerful because it shapes perceptions gradually rather than through direct confrontation. Whether the rumors were accurate or not, supporters of Anne found themselves dealing with growing speculation that was difficult to address because no public accusations had been made. At the same time, according to reports, another development drew attention. Camilla was said to have stepped back from 2 previously scheduled public appearances with Charles. While no official explanation connected the decision to the ongoing dispute, royal watchers immediately began speculating about its significance. Some insiders interpreted the move as a signal. They believed it demonstrated how important public unity is to the image of the monarchy and highlighted the impact that visible support between senior royals can have. Others argued that reading too much into scheduling changes was a mistake. Still, the timing fueled even more discussion. Then came what many observers considered the most dramatic rumor of all. According to the story, a request was allegedly prepared for a broader review of private usage arrangements across royal estate properties. The reported proposal would examine long-standing informal agreements, historical understandings, and traditional arrangements connected to various royal residences. If such a review were ever seriously considered, royal commentators suggested it could reach far beyond a single wing at Sandringham. Instead of focusing on one dispute, it could potentially reopen questions about numerous arrangements that had existed quietly for years. That possibility alone was enough to send palace gossip into overdrive and raise the stakes of the controversy even higher. According to the rumors, the dispute had grown far beyond a disagreement over a single wing at Sandringham. By this stage, the debate was no longer being framed as a challenge to one legal filing. Instead, insiders claimed it had evolved into a much larger question about long-standing traditions, informal arrangements, and historical understandings that existed across royal estates. Reports suggested that a broader review could potentially affect numerous established agreements involving different members of the royal family. If true, the proposal would not just focus on one property or one dispute. It could place decades of traditional arrangements under fresh scrutiny. Royal watchers were stunned by the possibility and immediately began speculating about what such a move could mean. According to the story, Anne was not surprised when news of the reported request reached her. Sources claim she remained calm and confident, believing that the documentation prepared by her legal team was strong enough to withstand any additional examination. Those close to the situation allegedly said she had planned carefully from the very beginning and had considered the possibility of further challenges. Supporters of Anne's position argued that every attempt to weaken her claim had fallen short. First came the alleged effort to alter historical records. Then came reported attempts to challenge the filing through other channels. Later, palace gossip suggested that private conversations were shaping narratives behind the scenes. Through all of it, Anne reportedly remained silent and focused on protecting her position. What made the story so dramatic was the contrast between the two sides. According to royal commentators, one side appeared determined to keep pushing the fight into new territory, while the other relied on preparation, documentation, and patience. Whether the rumors are accurate or not, that image became a major part of the narrative surrounding the controversy. As the speculation continues, one thing remains clear. This story has captured the attention of royal watchers everywhere. If you've enjoyed following this dramatic royal saga, don't forget to leave a comment with your thoughts. Hit the like button and subscribe for more royal updates and breaking stories. There is always another twist waiting just around the corner, and this royal drama may be far from over.